Greetings and blessings, everyone. James Thomas Devitt, Blue Star Spiritual Group, Blue Star Temple. Had some really awesome topics that people put in to my post, and I'm going to be addressing each of those here momentarily. However, I wanted to make a couple of the little announcements, if you don't mind. This Wednesday, I'll be going under the knife, as it were, having surgery to have my gallbladder removed. So if you would please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. I'm sure it's going to be fine, and the guidance that I've been getting is that I'm going to be going through a double surgery. So a physical surgery with my doctor, Dr. Al-Janabi, here at Wellington Hospital, having the gallbladder removed, and then with Danaith from the Blue Star and the medical team who are in the fifth dimension, and they're going to be working on me quantumly, if you will, or multidimensionally. I have no idea what it's going to entail or what's going to happen when I come out of anesthesia, but it should be interesting, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, I have decided to do a video on the Blue Star Temple, the spiritual school that I'm starting. I'm going to be going over different things that I'm going to be teaching. However, with that, I'm also going to be telling you all about my spiritual journey, how I got to where I am today, and the things that I experienced and the things I went through. I feel that it's important that if people are going to learn from someone, that they should know their background. And so I'm going to be really delving deeply into my background, and to be really blunt with all of you, the only person who really knows what I'm going to be sharing with you is Janice, my wife, my twin flame. So it's very exciting to actually be putting myself out there and sharing part of myself with all of you. And I hope you enjoy it. Now, I have decided, due to the complexities, I'm going to share a piece of something I experienced, but it's in relation to post from Lulu. You struggle daily with anxiety about dying. Every day you start to think about how and when you'll die, what it'll be like, what is there for you after this life is finished. You worry that you won't remember yourself as you are, or the life. Worry that it'll just finish and there won't be anything. And thinking that one day your children will pass away and there's nothing you can do to stop it. This is, without a doubt, one of the more profound comments I have had to deal with death. I grew up with my grandparents, my mother, and my half-sister. And in 1986, I lost my grandmother, November 30th. When I do the video on the Blue Star Temple, I will tell you the story of her passing and what happened leading up to that, because it's highly significant. My grandfather passed. My mother passed in 2000, or right around the same time that Janice and I got married. If you hear a meow, that's Luna. She's wandering the table at the moment. Luna, just chill out, okay? Anyway, And then a year ago, in January, I lost my father. When you lose someone close to you, it is difficult. They've crossed over. They're fine. If they were in a lot of pain, they aren't now. They're just fine. It's us here, still here. We're the ones that's a mess. We're the ones going, why did this happen? Why did this happen now? In your case, Lulu, why did it have to happen? And I read what you wrote, and I've been reading the comments that others have made as well. And it reminded me of something that occurred to me in 1989. I was living in Bonnie Lake, Washington. Now, for those of you who don't know, Bonnie Lake is just up the hill from Puyallup, which is just east of Tacoma. So it's very close to Tacoma, Seattle. And I had let a friend of mine use my car for his driving test because his vehicle had a busted tail light. And in payment, in exchange, if you will, he bought me lunch at the pub. The pub was on the main street, and behind the pub was a very large parking lot and a grocery store and everything, and shops. So I'm sitting there and I'm eating lunch and drinking a schooner of beer, and my friend is sitting there and he's having a schooner and playing called pool tabs. It's like the lotto cards you buy, and scratchies and stuff. Now, when I was in the Air Force, I was a medic and I worked medical surgical ward. There's a reason for knowing that little piece of information. All of a sudden I heard people oohing and awing, and I turned around and there were people at the windows looking out. And I went over and I looked out the window, and laying in the middle of the road was a young lady, probably early 20s. She'd been thrown off the back of a motorcycle. The motorcycle had been entering into the car park when it hit a car. Now the bike wasn't going very fast, and I assume her boyfriend, who was driving the motorcycle, his only injury was he bruised his right knee. But for some reason, somehow, she was thrown like 40 feet off the back of this motorcycle and landed in the middle of the road. So, of course, I had been a medic in the Air Force, so I ran out to her to see if I could help her, and her chest wasn't moving, and so I knew she wasn't breathing. And I knelt down beside her, and there was nobody else physically around us. In the pub, they were calling for the ambos to come, and everything. And I reached down to put my fingers on her throat to check her carotid artery. And I felt a hand on my right shoulder. And I heard clear as a bell, "Don't worry, it's my time to go. This is how I chose to leave." And I froze. Never touched her neck, never felt for a pulse. She was very peaceful. I got up and went back into the pub. And I proceeded to drink 12 schooners of beer, because I had never experienced anything like this in my life. And the ambos came and they got her body going again, and I knew that they did because her stomach swelled, and they took her away. And about a half an hour after they took her away, they called the pub, and I don't know, but the guy behind the bar said that she had passed away, and I'm sitting there going, I already knew that. She told me. She told me she was. That's how she chose to leave. So Lulu, you followed your heart and guidance and decided to have your child at home. And your little one decided not to stay. That happens. I'm not saying this is the reason, but it almost feels like it was a test for you to see if you would actually follow your heart and guidance. I have seen my mother, not seen, but felt in a healing facility on the other side. When I was a caregiver at a rest home here in Wellington a few years back, there was a lady who was one of my patients, and she'd had a really hard life. I know her son. Her son actually lives close to here. He struggles with life, but I see him regularly, and we always talk and everything. After his mother passed away, she came to me, and she was in one of these healing facilities, and she asked me to pass on a message to her daughter, which I did. Death is an illusion. When you are born, imagine, if you will, you're standing in a hallway, and you're walking in this hallway, and all of a sudden you see an open door, and you go, "Oh, cool! That's my door." And you go over and you look inside. You don't walk in yet, but you're looking inside. You're like, "Whoa, cool! Look at all the stuff in there. Well, that's kind of cool. All right." Above the door, the light turns green, and so you walk in. That moment is when you were born in a physical body on this planet. Now, in this room, there are pictures of relationships you will have, marriage or marriages that you will have, children's photos of children that you will have, people that you will meet, things you will do, things you will see, all sorts of things. When you are done in your room, the door on the other side will open. Oh wait, the door's open over there. I can leave now. So when you're ready, you walk through the other side and you cross over. You die. Your physical body will die. You don't die because you're immortal. This is a vessel. Okay. Let me see if I can explain this a little bit differently. I hate seeing pictures of myself. There are occasionally pictures I like the one that's on my profile picture at the moment, with me sitting, which is actually sitting in a hotel room in Hong Kong, China, which was taken last September when Janice and I were in Hong Kong. But generally, don't like it. We have one mirror in the house, which is in our bathroom, which is in that direction. That's the only mirror in the house, because I don't like looking at me. When I'm doing these videos, I can see my face looking back at me. I don't like it. I really don't like it. And the reason? I mean, looks-wise, I'm very average, and that's cool. I don't like it because when I look at my face, when I look at me, it's like that's not who I am. And it's not. This is the physical vessel that I have in this incarnation, and I have it because of my father and my mother. Have a nice day. I chose them to be my parents. The problem here, Lulu, is that your little one who decided not to stay, you already knew he was not going to stay. You didn't do anything wrong. And when you cross over, you'll see your little one and it'll all be all right. In the moment, how do you deal with the anxiety? When it comes up, you have to remind yourself, this isn't real. It's not real. You're immortal. Your children are immortal. Your children chose you to be their mother. They chose their father. They chose well. You didn't do anything wrong. You keep thinking you did, and you didn't. There's so much more going on than meets the eye. If you would like me to expand on that, Lulu, you let me know, please. Okay, next. Robin Smith Burkamp, my dear friend from Kansas. Okay, $1 million question for you. We know what spirit and ourselves are capable of. We believe all our energy and everything is connected. We talk the talk. We, for the most part, walk the walk. We are moving faster than most on our journey, and yet we still have our doubts. We still have feelings of being unworthy or not good enough. How do we embrace without hesitation, without our ego getting in the way, without care or concern for the beliefs of others, the truth that we know? We know and believe, but still have that space that has not yet been filled with completeness. Robin. There are days that I have doubts. We all have them. I'm lucky in the sense that I don't really have an ego. I'm lucky on one side. On the other side, I'm a little handicapped because of that. I embrace who I am. You ask, how do we do this? Choice. Every moment of every day. You have an interaction with somebody, how you respond, how you act, what you say, all down to choice. You get to a point, and I'm pretty much there now, where you go, I don't care. Excuse my French, but I'll be blunt. I don't give a shit. I really don't. I don't care if someone likes me, dislikes me. I don't care if they agree or disagree with my beliefs. You know, we have a couple of people in this group that are born again Christians. I love them to death. They're awesome people. Does it matter? No, because we all believe in God. We all believe in something greater than ourselves. Dogma's dogma. Who cares? This planet is a planet of duality, density, games, learning, experiencing, everything. You know, if it was easy, then it'd be totally different. But it's not. It's challenging as hell. We make choices every day. Some are massive, major choices. Some are so inconsequential that We don't even think about it. We just go and do it because it's just part of who we are. How many of you get up in the morning, go and have a cigarette, or go and make a coffee first thing in the morning, or go to the toilet first thing in the morning? You don't even think about it. You just get up and you do it. It's just, but it's still a choice. So when you are dealing with other people, it is a choice on how you react, how you act with them. You know, for a lot of people, it's like, this is my family. I can't be who I really am around them because they won't accept it. This is why a lot of homosexuals have committed suicide, because their families didn't accept who they were. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if anyone accepts you. Can you accept yourself? That's the bottom line. Can you love who you are and accept who you are and just be true to you in every day and let everyone else deal with it? Choice. You know, I've known you for a while, Robin, and I will tell you straight up, you have changed dramatically. You've changed a lot in the time I've known you. And that's just going to continue. And sooner or later, you will get to a point where it's like, you know, I'm tired of putting on acts for the benefit of other people. I'd rather just live in honesty and in truth with who I am. Choice. That's the bottom line. Miriamond. Get back up here. There we go. If we have an old soul, is it possible in this life to be able to pinpoint where we would have died in past lives? I feel like I can pinpoint 4 times I would have died, but divine intervention saved me each time. Just a thought that has been swelling in the back of my thoughts. Okay. It is possible. In my last incarnation, I died in a forest in Poland. Committed suicide. In another lifetime in Japan, I jumped off of a cliff and died. But the problem is, to be honest with you, I mean, past lives are great to look at to see how it affects our current incarnation, how it affects maybe relationships, different things like that. But at the end of the day, the most important lifetime is the one we're living. So it is possible to pinpoint. However, it's a situation where if it's really important for you to know, you'll be able, it will happen. And it'll happen naturally. If it doesn't, you don't need to know. Huya Dixon. A topic you would like to know more about is what to do about major resistance to the changes happening from major corporations and government entities. How do we deal with the things these corporations are implementing in our world so that has the most positive outcome for all? Part of me says to create the reality that I want to live in and want for our future children and grandchildren, and almost disbelieve anything that they are trying to do. And part of me wants to take a stand and do something physically to acknowledge the things that they are trying to do and make people more aware of it. But I do not want to create more fear. If you could shed some light on this. Huya Dixon. That's a great question. I see things about Monsanto, you know, and the GMO stuff. And just listening the other day to Talkback Radio at work, and they were saying that the U.S. presidents, you can't really get elected president unless you spend at least $2 billion. It's completely corrupt. And we are going through a major shift. And they are resistant to change. And those who have been involved and focused on the old energies are the most resistant to change. This includes governments, leaders, even doctors, teachers, whatever. The change is going to happen anyway. This is my opinion. Okay? Focus on you and your whānau. It's the bottom line. I keep coming back to Michael Jackson's song Man in the Mirror. Starts with us. Be a living example. Like for Janice and I, we go to the markets. We like to use local farmers, fishermen. So we do our best to stay away from a lot of the processed crap that's out there, that's been tampered with. I mean, you go to the grocery store and you pick up a can, you look at it and you're looking at ingredients and what the hell is that? I can't even pronounce it. You shouldn't be eating it. Sorry. Kidney beans, right? Buy dry kidney beans. Throw them in a pot, some salt, water, soak them overnight. Next day, cook them for about 45 minutes to an hour. They're beautiful. There's no crap in there. You have created it. I have not eaten at McDonald's in a couple of years. Haven't eaten at KFC for over 3 years. When we do a takeaway, we go down and get a kebab from Laz Kebab. Laz, the family, they're from Turkey. They're incredible people. They're awesome people. They make fantastic kebabs. Every Wednesday evening, we have a kebab. Have a nice day. We don't buy crap anymore. We don't. The crappiest thing we probably buy on a rare occasion is microwave popcorn. Right at the moment, our snack of choice, some garlic with broccoli, cut it all up, put it on a baking tray, some seasonings, and you bake it. They get all crispy and everything, great, and you chow down on that. Cool. And it's really, really good. Don't support corporations that do things that harm people. You don't have to anymore. I mean, granted, you have to get petrol for your car and stuff like that, but you minimize as much as possible. When you talk to people, you treat them with respect and love and honor, and that's what we do. There's enough people out there creating fear. Don't be one of them. Create love. That's the focus. That's what we need to focus on. If you read the writings that I write, and if you watch the videos that I make, it's all about love. It's all about trusting in your heart. It's all about trusting in spirit, in God. That's what it's about. People want you to do things that you shouldn't do, that's not right. Don't do them. It's easy. You choose. That's the bottom line. You choose. Seth Hurst on ideas and assistance with letting go. There's a Buddhist phrase that I learned some time back that I found very beneficial in this. If you can control a situation, why worry about it? If you can't control a situation, why worry about it? Ask yourself a question. Is it important to who you are? If it's not, let it go. It takes time and patience and practice to let things go. We're used to carrying crap around with us. There are different kinds of hoarders. I have a friend, he's a wonderful guy, but he is a hoarder. He actually used to rent 2 full apartments just to store all of his stuff. He's never cooked in his life, and he has 17 dinner sets. He has 50 paintings. He had to move out of where he was living because the landlord passed away. He had lived there for 30 years renting. And now he's in a much smaller place, and he's got 17 china cabinets to house things. He has things at friends' house. He still has things over in Australia where he's originally from. Now that's a physical hoarder, hoarding stuff. But then we have hoarders of energy, of internal stuff, internal baggage, emotional baggage, and they like carrying it around. And they, oh yeah, this is all mine, all mine. Drives me, I used to do it too. I'm just as guilty. I was really screwed up for a long time because of the emotional baggage that I carried around with me. I don't carry it anymore. Again, kind of a common theme here, choice. But it does take work. You have to live your life consciously, every moment of every day, being conscious of your choices, of what you're choosing. Your mind goes into these avenues and in these ways and go, oh, but you know this and no, don't go there. Ask a simple question. Does that define me? Is that all I am? So I'll give you a technique. It's a great little technique. I have not yet known anyone who has been able to do it once and it's done. It's a process. Each one of you has a beautiful chest. And it's open. And it's inside of you. And you go through yourself and you get all the crap. All the stuff you don't need. All the stuff that you're carrying around that you don't need anymore. And you put it in the chest. And when you put everything in that you can find, you raise that chest up, you close the door, you raise it up, and it'll move into the light. And the next day you go in to side yourself and go, whoa, the chest is back. And the lid is open and there's nothing in there. Fill it up day in and day out if you have to. Sooner or later, you'll move beyond. It's a process. It's a choice. It's about being conscious. Carolyn. 2 questions. Why doesn't that surprise me? It does not. Surprise, surprise. When we are reincarnated, they say that we end up in the same soul group. So the people we know today, we will know in future lives, but as different people. Is this always the case? No, it's not. It depends on why you're here. It depends upon what you need to do in a particular incarnation. It depends upon the agreements that you have with the other people that you're going to be sharing a lifetime with. There are a lot of variables to that. When you live with a person or people who don't believe in the things that you do and actually tell you it's all rubbish, is it best just to not talk about it at all? I can't answer that for you. See my earlier comment. I don't give a shit. I am who I am. I will be who I am. I will speak my truth, and if somebody doesn't like it, I don't care. If my family member didn't like it, I don't care. I didn't care with Terry, my half sister. I didn't care with my mother. I spoke my truth. I spoke what I believed. All you can control is what you do, is what you choose, is what you say. If you don't want to say anything in front of certain individuals, fine, don't. Don't do it for them. If you feel inside your heart that it wouldn't be appropriate to say something in front of other people, then don't say it. But to not say it simply because they don't believe in what you believe and they think it's rubbish, why is their opinion more important than yours? You know my feelings on this, Carolyn. I don't care what other people think or say or anything else. You know, they are the only ones that can walk their path. I'm the only one that can walk my path. You are the only one who can walk your path. How you walk it is your choice, not mine. How I walk mine is my choice. And I will speak my truth, and I will say what I need to say because it comes from my heart. And if somebody can accept it, great. If they can't, that's fine too, because I mean, if I say something, I cannot control how somebody else will react to it. I can't control how they see it. I can't control how they feel about it. All I can do is be true to who I am. Kirsty Morrison, you and your friend were discussing when is a human considered to have a soul? Is it from the moment of conception, birth, the moment an embryo has a heartbeat? The soul will enter normally in one of 2 times. Either a few days before the physical birth or at the physical birth. Sometimes right after the physical birth. There is a program on TV called One Born Every Minute, and it's about women having babies and giving birth. And they show the birth. They show the child being born. There's been 2 different occasions where Janice and I have been watching this. The child is born, and we've actually watched as the soul entered the body, entered the baby. Up until birth, that soul has a choice of whether it's going to be born or not. You do all the planning, plan who your parents are going to be, and what country they're going to live in, and what the circumstances are, the things you want to experience, all of these things. And then you stand there with a couple of ushers. I'll get into the ushers on the next video when I'm introducing the Blue Star Temple. But you're there with a couple of ushers, and everything. You have until the last moment to decide whether you're going to come in or not. Sometimes a soul will enter initially and choose, no, I'm not going to do it this time. I'm not ready. And they will leave. And the child will be classified as stillborn or having crossed right after birth, whatever. The soul is fine. It's not damaged, it's not harmed or anything. It's very traumatic for the one in physical here, the parent. Even on a miscarriage, it's very traumatic. Can be. It doesn't have anything to do with conception or a heartbeat or anything else. It's normally at birth. Jonathan, I have a suggestion, my friend. You say, I want to know what a day is like without giving space to negative thoughts and emotions. I am working to get there. It's normal to have them enter, but it's not our choice to give them space. So I have a recommendation for you. I want you to think. Sit down, have a good think. What would your perfect day be? From the time you got up in the morning to the time you went to bed at night. And I want you to focus on making that happen. And have your day where the only thing that you are allowed to think about is enjoying that day. Let me know how you get on with that. Joy Belloc. Dealing with the public when you are naturally shy. You've turned down work because the anxiety cripples you. You're a cave dweller, aren't you, Joy? You like your caves. You like sitting back and just not really having to deal with other people. And sometimes it can be very traumatic dealing with some people in a work environment. I understand that one very well. Trust me, I do. But you want to know the truth? There is a way being able to do it. It's temporary, but it does work. And I've made it work for me on different occasions when I've needed to. There is a phrase. It is credited to Shakespeare. All the world's a stage. So when you are going into interview for a job, or you're going into work, or whatever, view it as a performance. You're an actress, and your performance is going to work. There have been movies like 9 to 5, with Dolly Parton and company, where they're going to work and they're working in an office and so on and so forth, but they're just actresses and they're just actors. And Mary Tyler Moore show, they worked in a newsroom, in the offices and everything, but it's a role. You use that role until you get to a point where you can begin lowering those walls, showing more of yourself to those around you. My sense is you don't have any trouble showing who you really are to those who mean the most to you. It's the people you don't know. It stems from a past life, a few of past lives. It'd be very important for you to work through this. Creating not really creating a character, playing you, but viewing it from the standpoint of you're playing a role, right? That would be the way to go with that. That would be my best suggestion on that. Last but not least, Misha Duncan. Relationship, please. Should I stay or should I go? I'm going to be honest with you, Misha. I did get an answer just now when I asked the question. But I'm not going to say what it is. I'm not going to say what I got. Not because I'm trying to be mean. You need to trust your own heart. Put everything else aside. Trust you. You know the answer already. You don't need me to tell you. Give it. It's Saturday. If on Tuesday you have not made a decision, message me and I'll tell you what I got. Done? Phenomenal questions, everybody. Phenomenal topics to cover. I love doing this kind of thing. I love teaching. I love showing people how they can be more of who they really are. So I'm going to finish this message this way. In a few days' time, I go under the knife. It's exciting. No more attacks of gallstones, which can be very painful. Not as bad as a kidney stone, but very painful. And if it hits across the chest, it actually does feel like a heart attack. but it's not. Today is Saturday. Saturday the 9th. Go out and do something good for yourself. Go out and be good to yourself. Love life. Go out and do something that brings you joy, that honors who you are. Go look at some birds, or go for a walk in the forest, or do something that honors you. I'll be around for the next few days. Probably won't be saying much of anything on Wednesday and Thursday. But I'll make sure to give everyone an update either Thursday afternoon or evening, or Friday. Everything will be fine. Much love. Peace unto all of you.